Hello YouTube, it's Spotty321 here and I'm back with another Pokemon Go video. Before we get started, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more Pokemon content. Today we will be doing some Go Battle League matches, but before we get started, let me show you my team. Our lead Pokemon is this Deoxys, coming in at CP 1495 with the moves Counter, Rock Slide, and Thunderbolt. It has the following IVs. Next up, we have Altaria with CP 1494, these IVs, and the moves Dragon Breath, Dragon Pulse, and Sky Attack. Finally, we have Vigoroth with CP 1491, these IVs, and the moves Counter, Body Slam, and Brick Break. Now let's get started with the matches. I'll be starting at rank 3 and doing 2 full sets. So as you can see here, I decided to use a premium battle pass because I was feeling way too confident. And also please note that the matches will be sped up by a factor of 2 so that this video is not ridiculously long. Now let's get started with the first battle. So we send out Deoxys, and our opponent sends out Bastiodon, and we're doing some good damage, so our opponent decides to switch out into a Azumarill, which is a very bad move, as we have Thunderbolt. So we fire off a nice Thunderbolt, and our opponent shields, but just as we're about to fire off another, our opponent uses a Play Rough, and we don't shield. Now we use another Thunderbolt, and this time our opponent doesn't shield, so we can get off some good damage. Now we're almost able to fire off another Thunderbolt, but again, our opponent is able to beat us to it. But now we're able to fire it off, and our opponent doesn't shield, and the Azumarill is down. Now Medicham is brought out, and we're just barely able to get off a nice Rock Slide, which does some good damage, even though it's not very effective. We decide to bring out Altaria, hoping that it does not have Ice Punch. And yeah, it only has Power Up Punch, so of course that causes a switch out. And using my normal strategy, when they switch out, we just switch out, and then they're stuck in a bad matchup, which is why you never want to switch out first. So, as we can see, we can get off a nice Brick Break with our opponent's shields, and our opponent is able to get off another Stone Edge, or Flamethrower, sorry, just before dying. Now, as soon as the Medicham is brought out, we go for Body Slam, making sure not to die before we can use it, and our opponent is able to get off a nice power-up punch, KOing us, but Altaria can come out and finish up the battle. So that's one victory for us. Now it's time for the second match. So here we're again with Deoxys versus Azumarill, and it seems like our opponent does not want to switch out, so we're going to farm up some energy while our opponent sends out an Ice Beam. And now we're going to try and bait out a shield with a Rock Slide, but unfortunately it doesn't work and our opponent decides not to shield. So this time we're going to go for Thunderbolt, sorry. And our opponent again does not shield, which means we get off some good damage. Now, our opponent fires off an Ice Beam, which we don't shield, bringing us almost down to no HP, but we're able to get off another Rock Slide. And our opponent does not shield, meaning we're able to take out the Azumarill. Now our opponent switches in Skarmory, and this is a tough decision, but I decide to send out Vigoroth. I fire off a nice Brick Break, and our opponent shields, which is actually what we wanted, since Vigoroth can send out a lot of attacks really fast. Our opponent is able to switch into Registeel, but that's actually not a good move since Brick Break is super effective, and Counter as well, which is our fast attack, which means we'll be able to get off a lot of good damage against it. And as you can see here, we were able to take out Registeel with ease. Now Skarmory switches in with the charged attack and is able to take us out because we decide not to shield so that Altaria can come in and have an extra shield just in case something goes wrong. But as you can see, nothing can really go wrong here. We have way more HP and we should be able to easily take out this Skarmory. So we have now won 2 of our matches and we'll proceed on to the 3rd match. Taking a while to find our opponent. Okay, it looks like we got one. We send out Deoxys, and our opponent sends out Milotic, which is a Pokemon I've seen a lot in Sword and Shield competitive battles, but I haven't seen a lot of in Pokemon Go battles, so I don't actually really know how to handle it. But our opponent decides to switch into Machamp, so I decide to fire off a nice Rock Slide, which is shielded, and we have another Rock Slide that we fire off, which is this time not shielded, but does a good amount of damage. Our opponent's able to fire off a move, which unfortunately takes us out. But now we get a nice free switch into Altaria. Our opponent brings out Gengar, which I doubt can do much to Altaria, and we use our Sky Attack, which appears to be glitching, and that's not a good sign, but it works. And now our opponent has to bring out the 3rd Pokemon, which is Milotic. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but in Sword and Shield it can get Ice Beam, which would be a very bad thing. But I don't think it has that here, because we saw it had Surf, but it might have a secondary move. But it doesn't even matter, because we're able to just completely destroy it. And now we've won 3 battles. Time for the 4th. Again, taking some time to find an opponent, but here we go. So our opponent sends out a Umbreon, which is super effective against Deoxys, and I was going to switch out Deoxys, but then I ended up taking way too long. And I thought that was only enough time to charge up Last Resort, but unfortunately it wasn't. It was enough to charge up a Foul Play, so I just decided to shield here. And we fire off another Rock Slide, which should hopefully do more damage since I hit most of my targets. But this time it was shielded, and almost able to take out the Umbreon, but unfortunately it gets off another Foul Play and kills us instead. I bring out Altaria. Our opponent decides to switch into Ninetales, which we should be able to take out very easily. Fire off a Sky Attack, it's blocked, but our opponent's out of shield, so this battle's pretty much won. Our opponent fires off a Psyshock, which doesn't do that much at all. We fire off a Sky Attack, and Ninetales down. And the only Pokemon left is a Venusaur, which our Altaria should be able to take out with ease. And we've won our battle. That should be the 4th battle. And now we have just one more left before we sweep the entire set. Let's see if we can win this 5th battle. So we send out Deoxys, our opponent sends out Raichu, which we're both going to be doing not very effective damage, but our opponent switches into Registeel, allowing us to get a nice switch into Vigoroth, which should be able to fire off some nice moves. Flash Cannon, we block, and then we fire off Brick Break, which is also blocked. Now we decide to let this one go so that we can save up one shield, and we fire off a Brick Break, which doesn't do that much, but it does enough, and we're able to KO the Registeel. Now we go straight for Body Slam, but unfortunately, the Raichu is able to get off a Thunder Punch first and knock us out. We decide to go into Altaria for some, even though it's going to take some strong neutral damage, because Altaria should be able to KO it pretty fast. And we're able to farm straight down the Raichu. Now all that's left is this Swampert, which we're able to fire off a nice Sky Attack on, which will unfortunately be blocked, but that means all of the shields are done, and game over for our opponent. Fire off a nice Sky Attack, our opponent fires off a Hydro Cannon, which we decide to block, and game over. We've officially sweeped our set. Now to get our rewards. Gotta transfer some Pokeballs quickly. And our collection is full, so we gotta transfer Pokemon first, which will be this Gligar. Now, I will be catching a Swinub here because I needed it for my research quest, and I'll be demonstrating a capture method known as the quick catch method, which you can watch another one of my videos to find out more information about. I'll have that linked in the description. So now we're just going to have to transfer a couple Pokemon in order to be able to claim our reward and continue the battles. So we gotta claim the research reward and claim our battle reward. So let's see what we got. We got a Tepig. That's a nice reward. We decide to use an Ultra Ball to get this over with as fast as possible. But unfortunately, Tepig doesn't seem to want to cooperate with us. Being very annoying. And now we claim our rank rewards, which propel us all the way up to rank 4. So now we're gonna battle again. After how that went, I decided to use another premium pass. Let's hope that that wasn't a waste. And we begin our 6th battle. So we send out Deoxys, our opponent sends out Ivysaur, which is definitely an interesting choice, but it's immediately switched out into Swampert, and we decide to go into Altaria, because we know we'll be taking not very effective damage, whether it decides to go for a ground attack or water attack. And yeah, as you can see, Hydro Cannon did nothing there. Now our opponent's able to fire off a lot of charge attacks, which is surprising and unfortunate. And we try to farm it down, but that unfortunately does not go very well. And we're at a lot less HP than I would have wanted. And we had to waste a shield. But as soon as this Ivysaur gets switched in, we use Sky Attack, which is not shielded and is almost able to take it out. So we farm it down, go for another Sky Attack, which is able to be blocked by the Azumarill. We're able to fire off one last Sky Attack, which is not blocked and does a little bit of damage. We switch into Deoxys to go for a nice Rock Slide to hopefully bait out the shield, and that works. Now our opponent fires off a Play Rough, which we decide not to shield, and we charge up another Thunderbolt. We're almost able to KO it, but unfortunately we aren't right there, and our opponent fires off another Play Rough, which we decide to block. And we use a nice Rock Slide to hope to KO it. And that's the 6th battle won. Now it's time to move on to our 7th battle. Same team as before. So, our opponent sends out an Altaria, which is a great matchup for us, as Deoxys is my Altaria counter. So our opponent decides not to switch, and we fire off a nice Rock Slide, which is blocked. Our opponent fires off a nice Sky Attack, which we decide not to block, which was not a good move, because we're able to fire off this Rock Slide, but unfortunately we're farmed down. We decide to send out our Altaria, and thinking it's going to be a Sky Attack, I don't shield. But it was a Dragon Pulse. See, Altaria can be a very useful tool if you know how to use it and if it's used properly. A lot of people just think it's, a really strong Pokemon, so I can use it. But there's a lot of scenarios where, like that, against a lot of Pokemon that know Rock and Ice type move, it's nothing more than a sitting duck. So back to the battle. Our opponent switches into Cherim, and it's able to fire off a Weather Ball, which we decide to shield. Now we fire off a Body Slam, which does a good chunk of damage, and just as we're about to KO it by farming down, it fires off another Weather Ball. Now Azumarill is switched in, we fire off Body Slam, and then we fire off another one, and that should be game. So 7 out of 7 battles so far won. This seems to be going very well. And we start our 8th battle just like normal. The battle begins. Our opponent sends out Altaria, just like the last time. It's switched out into Deoxys. But then, unfortunately, right after this, we enter some problems. We had some technical difficulties which caused us to lose the remainder of the footage for that battle. I apologize for that. So, to sum up what happened, it didn't end well. I made a bunch of mistakes and we lost very badly. But let's begin our 9th battle and hope everything goes smoothly for this one. So our opponent sends out Azumarill, and we decide to farm up some energy. Our opponent beats us to the charge attack because I decided not to click it to see how much energy we could get. They use Ice Beam. We go for Rock Slide. But Venusaur switched in just in time. And now here, I get very much so outplayed. Thinking that was enough time for Sludge Bomb, I shield, but it was Frenzy Plant. And now thinking again it's going to be Frenzy Plant, of course it's Sludge Bomb. So we farm it down and unleash our attacks onto the Skarmory. We know that Skarmory is probably going to be able to fire off a Sky Attack soon as well, so we just want to get off as much as we can from this Altaria, and here comes the Sky Attack, which we decide not to shield. We fire off a Brick Break onto the Skarmory, which is shielded. And now we decide not to shield. And Azumarill is switched in. We go for Body Slam, which does a good chunk. And we're just able to fire off another Body Slam. This time it is shielded, and Vigoroth goes down. Our opponent fires off another charged attack, so we shield. We go for Thunderbolt. And then Skarmory switched in. We go, and we don't even get enough time to use our charge attack. We win. So now we're moving on to the final battle. Hopefully we're able to win this one, but you never know. So, our opponent leads with a Toxicroak, which switches out to Altaria, which is not even a good move from our opponent. We go for Rock Slide, which is not shielded and does more than half damage. See, that's why Altaria has to be used correctly, otherwise that can happen, and it's crippled for the rest of the battle. So we fire off another Rock Slide, which is shielded. And we're just barely not able to fire off another one. We switch into our Altaria, and this time we decide to shield, and this time again, it is Dragon Pulse. So I learned from my mistakes. They switch into Azumarill. I decide not to switch out and go for Sky Attack. Then I eventually do switch out into Vigoroth, just in time to take an Ice Beam. We fire off a Body Slam, which is shielded. Our opponent switches into Toxicroak. We're just able to get off a Body Slam. And Vigoroth goes down. Altaria is switched in. for some reason I decided not to shield here, which was the move that ended the battle. If I'd only stood there. But, you know, here, actually, if I hadn't had this shield as well, we'd also be down. So, I lost this battle. I got outplayed. And, yep. Our opponent beats us to the charge attack. And it's game. So, we claim our reward. Get a nice stun Fisk. Use an Ultra Ball to hopefully catch this thing quickly. But Pokemon today just don't seem to want to cooperate for some reason. So we do catch it. Gets registered to Pokédex because I haven't been catching a lot of Pokemon lately, so I haven't gotten a Stun Fisk yet. Claim our rank rewards, which gets us just under a third of the way to rank 5. And I'm going to be ending off this video with another look at our team. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come and watch these videos that I make. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to smash the like button, as it really helps, and consider subscribing to the channel so that you'll see next time we upload some more Pokemon Go content. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. P.S. If you made it to this point in the video, type Magikarp in the comment section, which totally isn't a hint at things to come. Thanks again for watching.